Peace and shalom, Israel. Before we start the lesson, hit the notification button because we upload lessons every week and I don't want you to miss a single one of them. Like, comment, subscribe, and if there's a topic you would like for us to cover, we'll see what we can do. So until next time, cue the music. All praises to the Most High God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And peace to everyone joining me on this program. This is the Fountain of Israel's Bible Studies program. And as always, it's an honor for me to stand before you on the Lord's holy Sabbath day. Now, this lesson is going to be called Bought with a Price. The Dowry of Christ. Bought with a price. So I want to deal with this lesson, this particular lesson, so that we can understand that our Messiah was indeed Hebrew. He was an Israelite. He come through the line of Judah. He's from the seed of David, you know, that whole thing. And with that comes Hebrew traditions. And he went with those traditions. Now, he's done a lot of things. He's done practically. You know, he wore the tzitzits and observed the Sabbath and dietary law and all those things. And he did things spiritually as well, like spiritually marrying Israel or reconciling Israel, you know, back to the Father. So we have to just understand that he still did that no matter which form we're talking about. He either did it spiritually, he did it physically or metaphorically, whatever the case may be, he did that. So in this lesson, I want you to understand that he paid a dowry for you and I. The Messiah paid a dowry for you and I. And it's the same in all the Hebrew customs, right? It's the same. It's the Hebrew custom that you do that you pay a bride price. And what we've been referred to as the bride of Christ, right? So we have to understand that he is the bridegroom of the church, right? We know he loved them and gave his life for and all that. He paid the price. See, so right there, we understand he paid the price. That was the price. Now we're going to see that the price isn't always money, but there's always a price. There's always a price. Now I know today we don't really do that. You know, you find someone you're interested in or whatever, you like them. You guys date, get together, boom, get married. Hardly anybody, you know, either goes to the, and I'm talking about from the human sense, goes to the bride's father and talk to him and ask his permission and stuff like that. Now, I'm telling you how it's supposed to go. I'm not saying how it goes right now. Right? Traditional man marriage right now is, you know, it's not like it was in the Hebrew context, okay, in ancient Israel, where you had to go to the father or whoever is the head over her, like in the case of, you know, like Mordecai and Esther and things like that. But whoever is the head over her, you had to go to him, okay? And then you ask for permission or pay the bride price and things like that, right? And I want us to look at those particular things. We're going to look at it in the practical, but we're going to also look at it in the spiritual. So we're going to jump back and forth a little bit, but I just want to show you guys. Now, I will talk about our regular marriage a little bit, but I'm really focusing on the price that the Messiah paid. Okay? So let's deal with that a little bit. And we're going to start over in Exodus 22 and 16. Exodus 22 and 16. It reads this way. It says, "And if a man entice a maid that is not betrothed," right, "and lie with her, he shall surely endow her to be his wife." Now let's look at what all that means. So, in other words, like betrothed is Hebrews 7:81, and which means basically betrothed or engaged, right? So if a woman who's not engaged, means she's not intended for someone else, if you entice a maid who is not intended or engaged to somebody else, and you lie with her or sleep with her, he shall surely endow her to be his wife. Now let's look up endow, okay, which is the Hebrew 41:17, mahar, right? And it's to obtain or acquire by paying, purchase, price, give a dowry, right? Now, some people may think this is very, you know, archaic and old-fashioned. It's not about the price. It means that you are worth something, ladies. Sometimes we think a little bit too modern, right? that means that you are worth something. You're worth his effort to work or to pay or to whatever the case may be. That means you're worth something. Doesn't mean that you're worth 10 pieces of silver or 5 pieces of silver or 1,000 pieces. It's not that. That's not the whole thing. There is a symbolic reason. It means you are worth something, right? And so, and because the price could be whatever, for example, in this case, the father, it's up to him, right? It's up to him. If you go to the father, he can say, okay, 5 pieces of silver. I'm just saying. Or he can say, okay, 10 head of cattle. All right. There's still traditions around the world right now that has that. Oh, you want to marry my daughter? Okay, I need 4 bulls. You know, that kind of thing. In other places of the world, not in America, but you get my point, right? It just means that she has value. That's what it means. You know, what's it worth to you, basically, right? 17, and if her father utterly refuse to give her unto him, he shall pay money according to the dowry of virgins. What is a dowry? 41:19. What is that? Again, that's mahar, right? Purchase price for a wife or wedding money. Okay, so the young man needs to pay that. That's what it is. He needs to pay that. Okay. So, because women, because you know they can help perpetuate the line, you know, the bloodline and things like that. You have weddings for political reasons, you know, things like that. Weddings for, you know, financial gain or whatever. You have weddings for different reasons. You know, the Roman concept, you know, came a little bit later. You know, weddings, get married for love and all that other stuff. I get that, but what I'm saying, I'm trying to get you to understand how it is in a different culture. In this, the Hebrew culture, right? It's just a little bit different. Now, let's look at the price that Joseph paid over in Genesis 29. Okay, let's go. Not Joseph, I'm sorry. Forgive me. I meant Jacob. Sorry. Genesis 29. Let's look at Jacob and the price that he pays. You guys know the story, but I just want to show you something, right? It's kind of a negotiated thing, a negotiated price, right? So we're going to start at 15, 29, and 15, which reads, and Laban said unto Jacob, because thou art my brother, shouldest thou therefore serve me for naught? Tell me, what shall thy wages be? Like, what do you want? You're going to work for me? Now, what is it at? You know, what can I give you for this labor that you're going to do for me? That sort of thing. Now, he also said, when he says brother in this context, he's saying we're kinfolk, we're relatives, that kind of thing, because it actually was his uncle, right? Not his brother. So, he says in 16, and Laban had 2 daughters. The name of the elder was Leah, and the name of the younger was Rachel. Leah was tender-eyed, but Rachel was beautiful and well-favored. And Jacob loved Rachel and said, I will serve thee 7 years for Rachel, thy younger daughter. So he was very specific as to one he wants to work for, right? 19. And Laban said, it is better that I give her to thee than that I should give her to another man. Abide with me, so stay with me, all right? So he wanted to basically keep it in the family, right? All right. And Jacob served 7 years for Rachel, and they seemed unto him but a few days for the love he had for her. See? So he was paying the price, right? He paid the price. He paid 7 years for Rachel. He paid the price. That's still part of the dowry, right? Still. Okay. And Jacob said unto Laban, give me my wife, for my days are fulfilled, that I may go in unto her. So go ahead and give me my wife, and then that way, you know, she's going to be mine now. Well, hey, I did my part. Now keep your end of the bargain. Give me my wife, right? So he's going to go ahead and consummate the deal, right? And Laban gathered together all the men of the place and made a feast. Then we know we know why he did that. And it came to pass in the evening, and he took Leah his daughter and brought her to him, and he went in unto her. Okay, and Laban gave unto his daughter Leah Zilpah his maid for a handmaid. Do we understand what is happening, right? Wanted to throw a little party, probably get him drunk, right? Probably have some drinks, try to get him drunk, stuff like that. That's the only way. I mean, what other explanation is there, right? And 25, and it came to pass that in the morning, behold, it was Leah. And he said unto Laban, what is this thou hast done unto me? Did not I serve thee with thee for Rachel? Wherefore then hast thou beguiled me? How did you trick me? Okay, why did you do that? Right? So we know the deal. 26. And Laban said, it must not be so done in our country to give the younger before the firstborn. fulfill her week, and we will give thee this also for the service which thou shalt serve with me yet 7 other years. And Jacob did so and fulfilled her week, and he gave him Rachel, his daughter, to wife also. Okay, and then Laban gave to Rachel, his daughter, Bilhah, his handmaid, to be her maid. Okay, so now we got an idea. My point is this. I'm not really focusing on the trickery and the treachery and, Jacob being beguiled and tricked and working for Rachel for actually 14 years, and he ended up with Rachel and Leah and all that. I'm not really even talking about that. I'm not focused on that. What I'm focusing on is that Jacob paid the price. That's what I'm focusing on. He paid the price. He put in the work, 14 years, and he got the brides. He paid the price. He dealt with the father. He performed the service, and then he got Rachel and Leah. Okay, and of course the handmaids as well. Okay, so that's what I'm focusing on. The dowry, paying the price. People really need to think about those type of things when we go to, get married. We're willing to pay the price, right? Because a lot of times we want to get in there and you know what? That's going into a completely different lesson. I'm just going to stay focused on track with what we're dealing with right now. Okay, so we're just going to stay focused with what we're doing right now. Let's go to Acts 20. Let's go to Acts 20. Acts 20. Let's just stay focused on where we are right now. This is really about paying that price, and the price that the Messiah paid. It all runs with the Hebrew tradition. It all goes with the Hebrew tradition. So let's go to 28. So Acts 20 verse 28. Now he says in 28, he says, "Take heed therefore unto yourselves and to all the flock over which the Holy Ghost has made you overseers, to feed the church of God, which he has purchased with his own blood." So he paid the price. How did the Messiah pay the price for the church? You see what I'm saying? He paid a price. That price was demanded. He had to pay the price. In order to clean you up, to make you a presentable bride, he had to pay the price. All right? He had to shed his blood to cover all your sin and your sin debt. Okay? Same thing. It's symbolic, like, I already know some people will be like, well, and I'm going to give an example. An example would be, for example, you have a woman. I don't want to say anything huge, crazy. But let's say you meet a woman and she has a debt and she has $2,000 in credit card debt, right? I don't want to say 20,000, but let's just say she had like $2,000 in credit card debt. A man comes along, falls in love, and he pays that debt off for her, right? Now I know the side comments would be, he's a simp, he's a sucker, don't do that. I'm just making a point here. Just go with me with the illustration, right? So he's basically come along and paid off a debt that she ran up. Same thing with the Messiah. He's paying off this sin debt that we ran up. Paying the price, and he paid with his blood. You follow me? All right, so let's go ahead and continue. Let's continue. Let's go to 2 Corinthians 11. 2 Corinthians 11. And we get to 2 Corinthians 11, I want to read one verse, which is verse 2. Okay? Let's see here. 2 Corinthians 11. Okay, verse 2. And it says, "For I am jealous over you with godly jealousy, for I have espoused you to one husband, that I may present you as a chaste virgin to Christ." Trying to clean you up, having us all clean up our act so we can be presented as a chaste virgin to Christ, which is the bridegroom, right? So he's just saying, but maybe we need to clean up our act. And that's all Paul was really trying to teach, right? Maybe we need to clean up our act so that you be presentable. Kind of like when Esther, was made presentable to the king, right? Okay, so let's go ahead and keep going. So it still has to see, it's the spiritual, the symbolic, but it's very, very similar. You see that? You starting to see that? Very, very similar. Okay, we're gonna keep it going. We're gonna keep it moving, right? Still talking about wedding. Let's go to Matthew 22. Matthew 22. Go follow me there. Okay, we go to Matthew 22. And then I'm going to read 1 through 14. Matthew 22, and it says that Jesus answered and spake unto them again by parables, and said, The kingdom of heaven is like unto a certain king, which made a marriage for his son, and sent forth his servants to call them that were bidden to the wedding, and they would not come. Now notice, like a king made a wedding for his son, like the father to the son. He says, okay, those who are his, those are who he's going to be grafted to, right? But when we talk about the Father and the Son, we talk about Christ. Not everybody's going to believe in him. Not everyone's going to follow him. In other words, not everyone's going to get married to him, right? Not everyone's going to do that. And he sent forth his, verse 4, again, he sent forth other servants, saying, Tell them which are bidden, Behold, I have prepared my dinner. My oxen and my fatlings are killed, and all things are ready. Come unto the marriage, right? Those who have an ear, let them hear, right? It said, bring them unto the wedding. But they made light of it and went their way, one to his farm, another to his merchandise, right? And the remnant took his servants and entreated them spitefully and slew them, okay? But when the king heard thereof, he was wroth, and he sent forth his armies and destroyed those murderers and burned up their cities. Then said he to his servants, The wedding is ready, but they which are bidden are not worthy. Go ye therefore into the highways, and as many as ye shall find, bid them to the marriage. So those servants went out into the highways and gathered together all as many as they found, both bad and good, and the wedding was furnished with guests. And when the king came in to see the guests, he saw there a rich man which was not on a wedding garden. He had not on a wedding garment. He said unto him, Friend, how comest thou in hither, not having a wedding garment? And he was speechless. Then said the king to the servants, Bind him hand and foot, and take him away, and cast him into outer darkness. There shall be weeping and gathering of teeth. For many are called, but few are chosen. So someone, it's kind of like how they say, some people try to sneak you in the back way or tell you another way to get salvation and things like that. I mean, it ain't gonna, you can't just sneak your way into salvation. None of us can just finesse our way into salvation, right? You got to come the right way. You got to come correct, and you got to show up front and center, right? You can't just slide in there like nothing, like nothing's going on. If you're not ready, you're not ready. You're not getting in. If you're not ready, you're not getting in, right? But let me just back up a little bit. When he was talking about, you go and tell people. Some people are not going to listen, right? Some people are not going to be ready, right? They're not going to listen. They're not going to be ready. They don't want to hear nothing you have to say about this whole salvation thing, right? Nothing. They don't have anything to do with it, right? But then he'll choose others. Right? You can talk to people today and you try to tell people who Israel is and who the Father is, who is the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and nobody wants to listen. They just plug their ears. I don't want to hear that. They don't want to hear any of that. Right? You're trying to tell them, but they don't want to hear it. Try to share them a video, they don't want to hear it. It's not. Guess what? They're not gonna make it to the wedding anyway. They're not getting in. Okay? They don't want to pay that small price. Okay? Besides, he paid a huge price. So he paid with his life. And just to try to save us and clean us up, but we can't. No, we can't even pay a little bit of attention, try to get a little bit of truth. But it's not shocking because only those who have an ear to hear will hear it. Okay? So we're going to go ahead and continue. We're going to keep pushing, keep moving. Let's go to Ephesians. All right? We saw the wedding banquet. Let's go to Ephesians real quick. Let's keep it going, okay? Ephesians chapter 5, okay? When we get to Ephesians chapter 5, we'll start at 22. Ephesians chapter 5, 22. Where are we? 22, okay. Now, wives, submit yourselves unto your own husbands as unto the Lord. That one escapes a lot of the sisters today. I'm sorry. That escapes a lot of the sisters today. Submit yourself just like you submit yourself to the Lord. Well, my husband, he not the Lord. But you not Christ. He's trying to give you some advice here. Submit yourselves one to another in fear of the Lord. Okay? This is what he's trying to let us know. That's in 21. right? Play your role, right? This is what he's saying. I'm talking about men and women. Play your role. Men, play the role of the husband and do what husbands are expected to do. Wives, play the role of a wife and do what wives are expected to do. What is wrong with that? Because the Lord goes with order and protocol. That's how he operates. What's the first thing he did when Adam went sideways? I mean, well, when they both, sinned, but when everything went sideways, what? Did he go to Eve first or did he go to Adam first? Just order and protocol. You dealing with a woman, if she has a husband, you need to talk to her husband. You can't just sit there and carry on with another man's wife or whatever if he's not cool with that. I mean, he's fine and that's cool. Right? But you see how that can eliminate a whole lot of misunderstandings if you just follow the protocol? Okay? But 22, wives, submit yourselves unto your own husbands as unto the Lord, just like you would submit unto the Lord. For the husband is the head of the wife, even as Christ is the head of the church, and he is the savior of the body. Look at that. You get in order, you get into the protocol, you submit yourself, play your role. He is the savior of the church, like he's the savior of the body. Same thing. You get in the protocol. You are doing yourself, sisters, you're doing yourself a favor. Oh, well, my husband, he's an idiot. He's not a leader. He's a whatever. Although, okay, first, keep that to yourself. Second, pray for him. You do your role. Because you are in order, you are saving yourself because you are in order. Okay, now again, we're talking about the different parallels. We're talking about the parallels, between a man, paying the price and how Christ paid the price from the church. Okay, but I'm just we're just learning a little something on the way to learning something, right? Now, again, sticking with the topic, it says that Christ is the head of the church. Is he not the bridegroom? You're gonna usurp his authority, right? 24. Therefore, as the church is subject unto Christ, What? As the church is subject unto Christ, so let the wives be to their own husbands in everything. A few things, a couple things, just a little bit. All right? No, don't worry. We're going to talk about the husbands too, right here. The husbands in 25. Husbands, love your wives, even as Christ also loved the church. Now, how much did Christ love the church? And talk to the husbands. How much did Christ love the church? It's right there. And gave himself for it. Do you love your wife that much to where you would give your life for her? That's how much, right? Now, ladies, if you have a man who would literally give his life for you, literally give you a kidney, literally a guy breaks in and will protect you with his life, literally, I'm not just saying it in words, would actually do that for you, isn't he worth submitting to? Because that's what Christ did for the church. So isn't Christ worth us obeying? If you love him, keep his commandments. Isn't that, you see how if it all falls back into place? See, he shows us these practical things so we can get a spiritual understanding. That's what's going on here. Do the practical so you can get a spiritual understanding. We talk about all these things. We talk about the dietary law. Well, what's the difference? What's the matter with it? Why does he care what we eat? Stuff. Understand our body is a temple, right? It's not a literal temple, but it is a temple, right? And you cannot sacrifice pig on an altar of God, right? You can't put pig in your body. That's your temple. You see what I'm saying? You go back to the Maccabean period and what was an abomination? Them sacrificing a pig on the altar of God. You don't hear me. You don't hear me. I'm going to keep going because you don't hear me. Let's go to First Corinthians. We're going to go to 1 Corinthians. 1 Corinthians. I hope you guys are seeing the parallels there, right? So 1 Corinthians, and I'm going to go to chapter 6. 1 Corinthians chapter 6, and I'm going to start at 15. We're going to go 15 to 20. It says, know ye not that your bodies are the members of Christ? Shall I then take the members of Christ and make them the members of a harlot? God forbid. What? Know ye not that he which is joined to a harlot is of one body? For two, said he, shall be one flesh. But he that is joined unto the Lord is one spirit. Flee fornication. Every sin that is that a man doeth is without the body, but he that committeth fornication sinneth against his own body. 19. What? Know ye not that your body is the temple of the Holy Ghost, which is in you, which ye have of God, and ye are not your own. Very important for us to remember that ye are not your own. For ye are bought with a price. That is the title. This is where I got the title from. For ye are bought with a price. Therefore, glorify God in your body and in your spirit, which are God's. That all belongs to him. You're bought with a price. We all know how he paid. We all know how he paid, right? The price that he paid. We know how that happened. Okay? And we got to go back. We got to go back to what we were before, right? We got to go back to when we were lost and we were sinners and whom we serve. When we do sin, who do we serve? Right? We got to go back to that. At one point before we got this knowledge, we were like Pharisees and Sadducees. We were like Gentiles and pagans and stuff before the truth. That's how we were. That's how we were. That's whom we were serving. Because nobody was talking about getting to this covenant. That's the difference between being in the truth and being in the Sunday church. They don't talk about that covenant. They don't talk about a real true covenant and outline and show you this is the covenant and this is the price, right? It tells you all the things, all the trappings, the surroundings, everything else. It tells you about the centerpiece and the bouquet and the doves and the. They don't tell you about the commitment. If you love me, keep my command. They don't tell you the vows. They don't tell you that. They just say, hey, look, everything's all beautiful. Everyone's here. It's beautiful. It's ready to go. It's just going to be wonderful. This is the wedding. The hard part is the commitment. The hard part is the vows. The hard part is the covenant. And they don't tell you about that. That's the difference. He paid a price, and we need to take that seriously. You know, we'll read later. We'll read the parable of the 10 virgins. We got to be ready because he paid a price, right? He paid a price and now he's going to go prepare a place for you. Okay, that's the stage that let's keep on going. Let's keep it pushing. All right, we're going to go ahead and go to John 8, right? Let's go to John 8. Let's go to John 8. Okay, and when we get to John 8, we're gonna start at 34. Right? We're gonna start at 34 and we're gonna move around a little bit. It says, and Jesus answered them, saying, Verily, verily, I say unto you, whomsoever committed sin is the servant of sin. We committed sin, right? We are the servant of sin. Okay? So we used to be, not now, not you and I now. Okay? But he's the servant of sin. And the servant abided not in the house forever, but the son abided forever. So when you were a sinner, you ain't gonna stay in the house. You ain't gonna stay a part of this kingdom, right? Okay. If the son, therefore, okay. So we gotta drop down. I gotta drop down a little bit. Okay. Let's drop down to verse 41. He says, "You do the deeds of your father." Listen to what he said. "You do the deeds of your father." Then said they to him, "We be not born of fornication. We have one Father, even God." Jesus said unto them, "If God were your Father, ye would love me, for I proceeded forth and came from God. Neither came I of myself, but he sent me." He just basically saying, look, if you were from the Father, you would believe me. You would believe my speech. You will believe exactly what I'm saying because that's whom I came from. And we're gonna look at it, okay? But he's saying you're the child of the devil. We're gonna look at it. You're gonna go to 1 John here in a second, but we're gonna look at it. See, you and I, when we were sinners, when we were out there, when we were wilding out, before we had any kind of common sense whatsoever, when we had any kind of biblical sense, our father was the devil because we were serving him. And we got to look at the fact that the devil, what was he trying to do? What was the price that he was trying to exact from the Messiah? He wanted worship and he wanted his death. Ultimately, he wanted his death. Ultimately. Okay, he tried for the worship, hey, worship me, I'll give you all this or whatever. But ultimately, he did want his death. That's why he jumped into Judas to betray him, get him killed. And, he was the father, he's the father of this world. Romans killed him. Pharisees and Sadducees put him on this trumped up trial, this kangaroo court, tried him, killed him. That's ultimately what he wants. Hey, throw yourself off this, and God will send angels, and then you won't dash your foot against a stone. Meaning you won't be crushed and destroyed. Wanted to test him and all. He wanted to kill him. And what is the wages of sin? And what was the price that he paid? All right, so let's go on over to 1 John. We're going to go on over to 1 John. Serve sin. No, you know what? 1 John. Let's go to 1 John. Okay? Let's go to 1 John. Because I don't want anyone to think that, I'm just stretching. I'm like, no. We're getting it right here. We're getting it right here. Check this out. 1 John chapter 3, verse 8. He that committed sin is of the devil. For the devil sinned it from the beginning. For this purpose the Son of God was manifested, which is why he came, that he might destroy the works of the devil. Okay? Now watch this. In verse 10, now if we could even do 9, right? Okay? Because we were not, in the beginning we already know who we were. We were sinners, big time, right? Whosoever is born of God does not commit sin, for his sin remaineth in him, and he cannot sin because he is born of God, right? And we were not, all right? From Jump Street, many of you guys just now recently found out whom you were, who you belong to, and whom you are, right? But verse 10, check this out. He said, in this the children of God are manifest, and the children of the devil. Whosoever doeth not righteousness is not of God, neither he that loveth not his brother. If you don't do righteousness, which is being in the covenant, following the law, statutes, and commandment, okay, putting your trust in the Messiah, putting your trust in the Son, like it says in Psalms 2, right? Then you're not born of God. You are of your father, the devil. If you commit sin, you are of your father, the devil. And while we were yet sinners, he came and paid the price to clear the debt for you. He paid that dowry. Okay, not dowry like you're writing it. Dowry. Sorry, D-O-W. Dowry. Okay, but we're gonna continue. We're gonna continue. Let's go on over to Revelation 19. Revelation 19. We're going to do 7 through 9. Let's keep the train moving. Verse 7 is, let us be glad and rejoice and give honor to him, for the marriage of the Lamb is come, and his wife has made herself ready. And to her was granted that she would be arrayed in fine linen, clean and white, for the fine linen is the righteousness of the saints. Are we understanding what's going on? And he said unto me, right, blessed are they which are called unto the marriage supper of the Lamb. And he said unto me, these are the true sayings of God, right? So it's preparing a wedding, making you right. Okay, that white linen, all that's because now there's righteousness. He's bestowing upon us righteousness because what? He cleaned us up. He paid for that to be clean. He paid for all that scarlet red sin that we had. He paid for that to be wiped out. I will remember your sins no more and all that. He prepared you, washing you up. Remember Queen Esther, who was prepared for a couple months or something, just getting her ready with the fine perfumes and the baths and the grooming and all this other stuff to get ready. Okay, are we starting to understand? To get ready, all this stuff is all symbolic. We're all the way in Revelation, and we're still talking about this whole wedding thing and getting ready and righteousness, and the Messiah is about to get married. Are we starting to get this right now? About to get married? And this is not a new concept at all. Okay, it is not. Isaiah. Let's go all the way back, because y'all know how we do. We do the whole Bible. Okay, we do the whole Bible. So Isaiah 54. Okay, Isaiah 54. Okay, Isaiah 54, and I'm going to read one verse. I'm going to read 5. For thy maker is thine husband, the Lord of hosts is his name, and thy Redeemer, the Holy One of Israel, the God of the whole earth shall he be called. So thy maker is thy husband. And he came and purchased you with a price, with his life. The Messiah came and purchased you with his life. I sincerely hope we're starting to grasp this whole concept. It is symbolic. I hope we're grasping it. Okay, we're going to go to Revelation, right? Go back to Revelation 21. Revelation 21 and then 9. Okay? Now what does it say? It says, and there came unto me one of the 7 angels which had the 7 vials full of the 7 last plagues, and talked with me, saying, come hither, I will show thee the bride, the Lamb's wife. The bride, the Lamb's wife. Now who's the Lamb of God? And then he said, I'm going to show you the bride, the Lamb. He's coming to get married, to come to be in covenant, come to join you, come to clean you up, and pay the price of the debt you ran up. It's the same as if, for example, if a man meets a woman, right? He meets a woman, and let's say she has some debt, right? Let's just say she has like $5,000 in debt, right? And to show that he loves her, he just pays that debt off. Now, he didn't run the debt up. She ran the debt up. She had the debt. By the time he met her, she had the debt. And he just says, okay, I'm gonna wipe that out because he can afford it, right? Okay, $5,000, okay, I'll take care of that. Don't worry about it. Boom, he takes care of it. He wipes out the debt. It's the same thing that Christ did, except that on a much higher scale. On a much higher scale, and certainly a more spiritual scale. He wiped out your sin debt. Now he says, come with me, and if you love me, keep my commandments. If you love me, obey me. Same symbolism in marriage of how it is supposed to go. Same thing. And so many people are just going to struggle with this. So many people. And on both sides. Don't get me wrong. On both sides. So many people. Husbands are going to struggle to be husbands and provide and be leaders. And they're going to have a hard time with that. That you're supposed to be willing to, one, provide and give your life. And lead, being the head, and lead your wife. Wives are going to have a hard time struggling. They're going to have a hard time too. Because they don't want to honor them, love them, respect them. Don't want to do anything. Don't want to submit to them. None of that. So he asks us to do things that both sides, they're going to struggle with. But those who can get it right, who can get it in their head, then you're on the right track. Then you can get a well done, thy good and faithful servant. Then you can get that. You can hear those words because you're doing what he says. How many of us are going to actually do it? How many are going to actually do it? No, we got to fight each other. We got to bicker and fight and kick and scratch and usurp authority. All that. We can't fall in line. People keep wondering, how come Israel can't come together? Well, we can't even get the household together. We can't even play our roles in marriage. So we can't get along with our husband or our wife, then we can't get along with our brethren. That's why we have to wait on the Messiah to come and straighten all this out. Let's keep the train going. Okay, that's 21 and 9 in Revelation. Let's go on right on back to Isaiah 62. Isaiah 62. And let's just get verse 5. For as a young man marrieth a virgin, so shall thy sons marry thee. And as the bridegroom rejoices over the bride, so shall thy God rejoice over thee. Okay, this whole marriage thing is supposed to be a beautiful thing, a beautiful union. Everybody doing what they're supposed to do. And that's what makes it beautiful. Everyone doing what they're supposed to do. Everyone getting their needs met. Everyone getting covered. Everyone's covered in righteousness, right? Everyone's covered in that. Everyone's blessed to be in that. Everyone doing what they're supposed to do. That's it. It's supposed to be a beautiful thing. Okay? It's supposed to be. They don't always turn out that way, but it's supposed to be. So let's go on over to Matthew. Okay, we're going to go to Matthew 25. Matthew 25, and I'm going to start at verse 1 through 13. It says, and then shall the kingdom of heaven be likened unto 10 virgins, which took their lamps and went forth to meet the bridegroom. And 5 of them were wise, and 5 were foolish. And they that were foolish took their lamps and took no oil with them. But the wise took oil in their vessels with their lamps. While the bridegroom tarried, let's look up tarried real quick. Okay, and it's in the Greek, and it's 5549. Okay, and it means to linger, delay, tarry, like to wait, right? He was like what we do, he wait, right? And it says over here, took their lamps, but the wise, excuse me. And while the bridegroom, in verse 5, and while the bridegroom tarried, they all slumbered and slept. And at midnight there was a cry made, behold, the bridegroom cometh, go ye out to meet him. Then all those virgins arose and trimmed their lamps, okay? Which is another thing. When royalty or your husband, when someone of authority or whatever shows up, okay, or they're coming, you go out to meet them and escort them back, okay? But, you know, that's another lesson for another time, right? We've seen that. And it says, verse 7, then all those virgins arose and trimmed their lamps. And the foolish said unto the wise, give us of your oil, for our lamps are gone out. But the wise answered, saying, not so, lest there be not enough for us and you. But go ye rather to them that sell and buy for yourselves. And while they went to buy, the bridegroom came, and they that were ready went in with him to the marriage, and the door was shut. Afterwards came also the other virgins, saying, Lord, Lord, open to us. But he answered and said, verily I say unto you, I know ye not. Watch therefore, for you know neither the day nor the hour wherein the Son of Man cometh. So you're not ready. But look at what's going on. You stay ready. You stay prepared. The whole intention is for us to get married. I have some business to go take care of, and then I'm going to come back and marry you. You see? But you're still supposed to be chaste. You're still supposed to be who you're still supposed to be a good a good woman, a good wife, a good maiden. Just because the Messiah hadn't come back yet, you are supposed to remain righteous. He's already paid the price. He's already paid the price. So you're supposed to remain married. You're supposed to remain how you are. You already his. He hadn't finished the deal. Not until he comes back. He finishes the whole process when he comes back. Right now, he just went to go prepare a place for you. And we'll get to that. But he already paid the price. He's already paid off your debt. Then he goes to go prepare a place for you to receive all of us. Right? That believe. But will we get in line? Will we get it? Okay? Hosea chapter 2. Go with me to Hosea chapter 2. Okay, and I'm going to start at 16. Okay? Hosea 2 and 16, it says, and it shall be at that day, said the Lord, that thou shalt call me Ishi. What is Ishi? What does that mean, guys? Some of you guys already know, okay? Ish, right? And you call me Ish. What is that? Man. Oh, man. Male. Husband. Great man. That's what it means. Even in the Strong's. husband. Okay. That you're going to call me husband, Ish, right? And shall call me no more Baali. For I will take away the names of Baalim out of your mouth, and they shall no more be remembered by their name. Again, you're going to, now, when you become a bride of Christ, when you belong to the Messiah, when you are bought with a price, then guess what? You ain't going to serve these other gods. You're not going to serve all these other gods. It's over for that, right? Okay, let's keep the parallels going. 18. And in the day will I make a covenant for them with the beasts in the fields and with the fowls of heaven and with the creeping things of the ground, and I will break the bow and the sword and the battle out of the earth, and will make them to lie down safely. So it won't be any war or anything like that. You don't have to worry about animals, attacking you or anything like that. So he said, he's going to calm that right down. And I will betroth thee unto me forever. Yea, I will betroth thee unto me in righteousness and in judgment and in loving kindness and in mercy. Look at, he's going to marry you, and he's going to do it in righteousness, judgment, loving kindness, and in mercies. I will betroth thee unto me in faithfulness, and thou shalt know the Lord. You're going to know who I am. Basically, is what he's saying. You're going to know who I am, okay? 21, and it shall come to pass in that day, I will hear, said the Lord, I will hear the heavens, and they shall hear the earth. And the earth shall hear the corn, and the wine, and the oil, and they shall hear Jezreel. I will sow her unto me in the earth, and I will have mercy upon her that had not obtained mercy, that's us. And I will say to them which were not my people, thou art my people, and they shall say, thou art my God. Yes, we do. We accept the wedding vow. We accept the vows. We promise. Yes, we're going to do that. Look at what he's saying right here in Hosea. What he's going to do with Israel. Because for a long time, we did not belong to him. And before you knew this truth, you didn't belong to him. When you were out there being wicked and a sinner, you belonged to your father, the devil. That's what it was. Until he paid that dowry. In other words, until you were bought with a price, which was his life, which was his blood. Right? We got a few more places. Let's go to John 14. Because not only did he do that, okay, so he came, he paid the price, and then the next thing he's going to do, let's go to 14, right? I just want 14, and I want a couple of verses. 14. Okay? 14 and verse 1, okay? Let not your heart be troubled. Ye believe in God, believe also in me. In my Father's house are many mansions. And if it were not so, I would have told you. I go to prepare a place for you. And if I go and prepare a place for you, I will come again and receive you unto myself, that where I am, there ye may be also. Okay? Just giving you the idea, that's part of it. He's keeping the Hebrew traditions. He didn't just gather us up for free. He paid a price. Then he's going to take care of you. Go into covenant. We're going to have an agreement. We're going to go into the covenant and we're going to have an agreement with one another. Oh, and by the way, let me go and prepare a place for you. We know in the end, you go to Revelation, we know all the way in the end, New Jerusalem coming down out of heaven, like a bride adorned for her husband. You guys know the story, and we know the many mansions and everything. It's not just mansions, but we're talking about it's positions of power and authority and things like that. It's a place, but yeah, it's physical and it's also position, right? We understand that. But are you understanding do you understand you were bought with a price? He paid the price. He paid the dowry for you. So in the meantime, we're supposed to get this thing right. We're supposed to get in line. Question is, are we doing that? Right? So let's continue. That was John 14. Let's go to Ezekiel 16 and 8. Ezekiel 16, verse 8. He said, now when I passed by thee and I looked upon thee, behold, thy time was a time of love. And I spread my skirt over thee, he's covering you, and covered thy nakedness. He covered your sin. Yea, I swear unto thee and entered into a covenant with thee, says the Lord God, and thou becamest mine. Oh, so he paid the price. He covered your sins, cleaned you up, gonna go prepare a place for you. You're doing everything a husband should do. Now, what are you going to do with it? See, sometimes we don't realize what we have right in front of our face. We don't understand the sacrifices that were made, and we just spit on it. We don't appreciate it. What are you going to do? You found out what the Messiah, you're finding out right now, what the Messiah has done for you, everything, the price that was paid. He's been a husband. You find out what your husband has done for you and is doing for you. Now, what are you going to do for him? That's the question. We're reading right now, everything that's transpiring right now, everything that's been done for you and being done for you. Let's continue. Let's continue. Jeremiah, okay? We know about this whole, the whole covenant, right? So we're just going to read a little bit, and then we'll move on, okay? So go to Jeremiah 31:31. Okay, let's go to 31:31. He already paid the price. Okay, Jeremiah 31:31, and it says what? Behold, the days come, says the Lord, that I will make a new covenant with the house of Israel and with the house of Judah. So now we understand who he's going to marry, right? 32, not according to the covenant that I made with their fathers in the day that I took them by the hand to bring them out of the land of Egypt, which my covenant they break, although I was a what? Husband unto them, said the Lord. Interesting. But this shall be the covenant that I will make with the house of Israel after those days, said the Lord. I will put my law in their inward parts and write it in their hearts, and I will be their God or husband, and they shall be my people. So we're going to have an agreement, and they're going to be mine, and I'm going to be theirs when we make this agreement, when we come into covenant one to another. But no, we're not getting the gravitas of it. We're not. He's running all these parallels to what he has done and what he expects you to do. And nobody's grasping it. No one's picking up on it. Few more places, right? Last, I actually want to go to the last place, okay? And then we'll start closing it out. I said you were bought with a price. Let's go to 1 Peter. 1 Peter chapter 1, and then we do 18 and 19, right? He says, for as much as ye know that ye were not redeemed with corruptible things, as silver and gold, for your vain conversation received by the traditions of your father. What is this conversation right here? Okay, let's look at that. Greek 391, okay? Thayer's lexicon said that conversation is a manner of life, conduct, behavior, deportment. That all means the same thing. Okay, deportment means your behavior, your conduct. Okay, same thing. Your manner of life. He said your vain, I could say. Now we go from your vain deportment, your vain conduct, your vain manner of life, your vain behavior received by the traditions from your fathers. Okay? And then 19. But with the precious blood of Christ as of a lamb without blemish and without spot. That's how you were bought with a price. That's what you were purchased with. He bought you. He paid the price. He bought you from your father, the devil, when you were wicked. Now you come into some knowledge and you understand. Now he says, okay, stop doing the crap that you were doing before. Stop doing what you were doing before and get into a covenant with me. Now, I'm about to go prepare a place, and then I'm going to come back and receive you. I've already paid the price. That's why I'm going to encourage you to look at our lessons on the channel with the feast days. All the lessons on the feast days. Go look up Passover and unleavened bread, and look up Pentecost, the Feast of Weeks. Okay, look up trumpets and atonements and tabernacles. Look at all that. Look at all those. What he's gonna do and what he is doing. I'm telling you right now, you are bought with a price, and he paid the dowry for you. This is why he used these family terms. That he's a husband and a father and all these other things, right? That's why he uses these. We're focusing on him being a husband. We're focusing on him paying that price for you, which is why you're called the bride, because he bought you. So all the things that he's provided for you as a husband, what are you going to do? You're supposed to be, you and I, we're supposed to be like the 5 wise virgins, waiting for him to come back or wake us up. But waiting in righteousness, not waiting in wickedness, waiting in righteousness. Keeping your lamp lit. Keeping oil for that lamp. Basically, staying righteous. You and I, we have work to do. We have some work to do. So I want to encourage you to keep striving, keep pushing forward. Stay in the world. Stay in the word. Keep your lamps with oil. Because you and I were bought with a price. Now, what are you going to do with it? I hope somebody's been edified by this lesson. Like, share, subscribe. And so until next time, search the scriptures and prove all things. Shalom and peace, Israel.